Hi everyone. So, it's kind of new for me. But I want to start it out with something not everybody gets to see. I kind of did some asking around in a couple of groups, and as it turns out, out of all the hams out there, only 10% ever get to see the repeater they talk on. Even less than that, maybe 1 or 2% actually own their respective repeaters. So, one myth I want to clear up: everybody thinks these are big, high-tech sites, and they're always clean. And this one's not that. So apologize. We exist on this site rent-free, thanks to some generous donations by people high up the chain. But at these sites, you'll see things like. Here I have the APRS node for the county. We only have one. It's mine. I just set it up maybe a couple months ago. I was here doing a check on it and decided to do this. Other things you'll see behind me is a repeater cabinet. I'll show you that. And behind me over to this side is also a cabinet. There's not a whole lot of space in here. That's why it seems a little close. But at every tower site, you try to cram in as much as possible. Odd as that sounds, try to cram in as much as possible for the best value. We don't get to make money off of this stuff, so that's why a lot of times you hear, hey, we need donations to keep the repeater on the air. A lot of times it's hardware. I'll show you a couple examples. Some of the hardware is expensive, very expensive. A duplexer on average about $3,000 to $4,000 if you want a really good one on VHF. 6 meters or more than that. UHF, you can find those on eBay pretty cheap, but tuned, ready to go, they're a couple $1,000. Last one I bought, or considered buying, I should say, I didn't end up buying. The guy wanted about $4,000 for it, brand new, out of the box, built for the frequency I needed it on. I was not willing to pay that. I wound up going down to a friend and buying one off of him, used. So I will get on with the brief tour here. There's not much to look at here. There's 2 repeaters located here, a GMRS machine that's behind me, and a VHF amateur machine that's here. This is the APRS station. I'll give you what is really here. This is just a TNC Kenwood PK790 45 watt radio, and an old computer that we have running Linux and Zaxter to run the APRS system. It is noisy. A lot of that comes from the fans in the VHF MSF 5000, and this old Dell server we use as a router. We're working on getting some upgrades in here at some point, but as funding comes in, we tend to do some stuff in large bursts. But anyway, I'll get on with it. So this is the VHF repeater. It is an MSF 5000, 100 watts. It goes up into a large array up at about 200 feet on the tower. It's a 250-foot tower. The base of the antenna sits at about 200. And this gets us about countywide coverage going north and south for where we're at, which gives us really good coverage. This is one of the go-to machines. There's a repeater south of this, 2 repeaters south of this, and 2 repeaters north of this. But this is the only one located in the center of the county. And this one, which is slightly less entertaining, is a Motorola Quantar that serves as our GMRS repeater. It is tuned back for 50 watts, and the antenna is only about 15 feet on the tower. This was left behind by a previous tenant, and talking with the site owners, we were permitted, given we archived the previous configuration, we were permitted to use it. The duplexer for it sits up here, and it was unusable for us, so it sits here and collects some dust. But it's currently running actually on a dual antenna system with appropriate separation, so that way we can run both halves of it, and it won't give any problems. And then up here is the APRS node. You see not a whole lot going on, and then the TNC and the radio. These TK790s are 45 watts VHF, It doesn't matter which band split you get, they'll always tune into the ham band, and you can get them dirt cheap. And they are absolute tanks. This one just sits here with the squelch wide open and just does its thing. Works really well for us. I like it. I have them in a couple other places in various duties, and they work absolutely wonderfully. And then, as always, you need power supply. That's our 12-volt supply for all the ancillary stuff. There used to be more here. As of right now, it's only the APRS station. And then down here is the duplexer for the VHF repeater. And like I said, this sites sometimes are clean, sometimes they're really dirty. It depends on what you get and who's running the site. But most of ours aren't necessarily the cleanest, but they're not like absolutely filthy. So yeah, this is an experiment for me. I'm gonna play around with it for a little while. Something I've been wanting to do. There is other stuff over here behind the camera and stuff, but I'm not going to show you that. That's not ours. It belongs to the owner of the site. They left it here abandoned, and we're working with them to be able to use it and be able to scavenge it for parts. Generally, that's what this stuff looks like. It's nothing fancy. There's no big computer racks full of equipment. But it does cost money. End of the day, that MSF 5000 to replace, if we were to go a used route, an MSR 2000, I can get one of those right now for about $1,000. Duplexers just underwent a tune-up. We began noticing some problems. We think somebody came up here and started wrenching on them. They didn't know what they were doing. That cost us about $1,000 to get those reworked and set back up for what we needed them for. This duplexer back here is going to need replaced, so we have one that works. Unfortunately, being a 50-watt repeater and all of the other tenants on this site being UHF, we cannot use flat packs. The cheap, $100 flat packs you see on eBay, they don't work. They will only protect the repeater against its own transmitter. The repeater's receiver against its own transmitter. They will not provide the appropriate filtering we need on our sites for them to work. Other than that, I don't have much to show at this site. I might go to another one. I do have other sites. I'm not visiting any now. I might show you guys some of the other projects that happen at some of these sites. We have packet nodes. I have some receivers that broadcast out to the internet. But yeah, that's generally what happens here. There's not much going on at the moment. We're planning some work weekends here, getting some stuff done, and getting some more stuff on here. Yeah, have a nice day, 73, and I don't know, might do this again.